guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. Today we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the Super Strike XENO Trunks here. I'm not. I don't know that I have very high hopes for this. I mean, this is a Super Strike free-to-play character. We'll give a nice look at him and see how effective he could be, but again, my expectations, I would say, are not really the highest when it's coming to this Trunks. Sticker does not really seem too crazy here. I mean, not a big deal. Now, this Trunks, I mean, he actually has a lot of variables in his kit, based upon if we're fighting one enemy, if we're fighting two enemies, how many Defender of Justice allies we have on the team. So we're definitely going to want to utilize him, you know, with Defender of Justice allies and maybe, a team without is probably what we're going to do. In terms of the build I went for him, I mean, obviously this type of character, I mean, just giving him full dodge. I can't imagine any reason why we would do anything other than this, right? So let's go ahead and hop into an event. Again, so Trunks gets buffs against one enemy, he gets buffs against two enemies, he gets buffs if he's the only Defender of Justice category ally in the team, and then he also gets buffs if there's a lot of Defender of Justice category allies in the team. So there is a huge variant in how Trunks is going to look based on the conditions of the fight. Alright guys, we're here in an event. This is perfect. We got XENO Trunks right here, turn 1 for us. So we can see how Trunks will look against one enemy, and then this fight will obviously transition into multiple. For this first team, we're on the Gohan and Piccolo team. I mean, maybe at least with some of their support. I mean, they also are going to have Cold Judgment for Trunks right here to potentially kind of help us out a little bit. So Trunks' link set is Cold Judgment, Solid Support, Patrol, Bombardment, Xenoverse, Super Strike, Shattering Limit. Just one of the worst link sets we've seen this year. It's actually just so bad. I don't know. Now, I will say this. We're looking at Trunks without the Defender of Justice allies. Of course, we want to get the full scope of what this character can do. But certainly, if we're using this guy, his abilities with Defender of Justice allies are going to be significantly better for a free-to-play character, right? We're not talking about some big juggernaut. All right, here, let's just go through this turn. We'll be doing a lot of blabbering away about this character as we move forward. Okay, so he's at 230k defense right here. He is not getting any defense when he attacks, right? If you're fighting an extreme class enemy, he does. He gets 100% defense and a high chance to crit when attacking an extreme class enemy. So he'll get an extra 100% defense once he actually, does attack. And then his super attack effect, he gets 30% defense, then he greatly lowers enemy defense. I mean, this is a strong turn. I mean, we're going to be getting support from Gohan and Piccolo. Keep in mind, as soon as we get orbs with Gohan and Piccolo in slot 3, they're going to activate even more support for him, right? So Trunks is just going to be juiced up on support from the Gohan and Piccolo. So let's just go ahead and see what we're going to go ahead and get right here. So let's jump in and let's go ahead and see what XENO Trunks can do on this turn right here. Okay, so this Gohan, of course, is giving us the dodges, which is good. Okay, sure. Perfect. All right, so XENO Trunks. All right, well, Gohan, of course, is going to dodge this first. And he does. Yep, Gohan. Perfect. All right, so XENO Trunks is at 3.99 right there. Certainly not the craziest, right? Now, Trunks, if he is the only Defender of Justice category ally in the team, he does get 100% attack and defense and a guaranteed crit. So we did notice that Trunks did crit right there. That was, again, a guaranteed crit that we actually saw from him. All right, perfect. So now we're going up against two enemies right here. This, again, is great because the fact that we're going up against two enemies means we're going to, activate a different part of Trunks' passive. Damn, dude. Every time I jump into this stage, look at this. Like, Goku Black and Zamasu could so easily kill that Goku and Gohan exchange unit. And it's like, where do I hide them? It's scary, man. It's scary. So for Trunks, we would get a few links activated right here. It's at 300k defense. Okay, so notice that Trunks' defense went up. This is because when fighting one enemy, Trunks gets 3 key and 100% attack and defense. When fighting 2 enemies, Trunks gets 150% defense. What happens when Cold Judgment is not active, by the way? He's at 242 right there. So we could just see the supreme. I mean, he's getting 60k defense for one link, right? A lot. Keep in mind, we do have, you know, the Gohan and Piccolos. We've been keeping them in slot 3, so, you know, we are getting a lot of support. The thing about Gohan and Piccolo, they are like a supreme level character if you can get them in slot 3 and they don't die. These characters that do multiple turn supports, it is so powerful. I feel like a lot of people underrate the effect that Bulma, Yajirobe, this character can do, Dr. Zhou and Dr. Mew. The difference, though, is can the character actually live, right? Yajirobe can take incredible damage. Gohan and Piccolo can take huge damage. Dr. Zhou and Dr. Mew are terrible, right? It's pretty much only Bulma who's like 100% comfortable, you know, popping this support. But it's just, like, when you can get support, you know, like just like multiple turn support, the team is just strengthened incredibly. I'm going to do this, because Gohan and Goku, I think, could die. If we lose right here, we'll at least have seen what we wanted to see, which is Trunks with no other Defender of Justice allies in the team, and we saw him against 1 enemy and 2 enemies. After this, I think we'll go to... okay, so Trunks has several 200% teams. Why don't I just show this, put this on screen real quick. These are the 200% teams that Xeno Trunks has access to. Sword of Hope, Carnival Kid Gohan, Beast Gohan, Orange Piccolo, the STR Carnival Goku, Gohan and Piccolo, and Hearts. I don't know. We would run either Sword of Hope or Hearts' team, but we're going to want to try and jump over to a majority Defender of Justice team. Isn't really that hard, because all of the good, like a lot of the good, like, Xeno Super Saiyan 4 characters are Defender of Justice, right? Like Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, Physical Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, those characters are Defenders of Justice. So, you know, there are good characters we can run. All right, this, please guard. He got one-shotted? He got one-shotted, dude. Are you kidding me? That was with Cold Judgment up, and we have multiple turn support. God damn it. All right, let me get that exact, dude. That, like, I jump into that fight, and this is what happens. Maybe I'll just go to, like, one of the OG Dokkan events. Oh my god. All right, we'll come back. I would like to just finish out that turn, and then after that, we'll jump to a Defenders of Justice team, man. I can't believe okay. All right, guys, let's just go ahead and get this rotation right here, and then we'll just move over to Defenders of Justice after this. Remember, Defenders of Justice, that's where I think this Trunks, like, the effects that we would actually sort of want to see, I do think would more so be on the Defenders of Justice team, right? For sure. Okay, so let's just see the numbers that Trunks gets. Remember that Trunks, being the only Defender of Justice ally, he is doing a guaranteed crit, but I don't know. I could not see myself using this Xeno Trunks ever, like just by himself, right? Like, if he's the only Defender of Justice category ally in the team, his passive is essentially going to be, like, let's say we're doing like a serious fight, right? He's getting what, 100% attack and defense, 3 key 100% attack and defense against 1 enemy. He's getting the 100% attack and defense and guaranteed crit against Defender of Justice ally, and then 100% defense and a high chance to crit against extreme class enemies. I mean, that's not, on a free-to-play character, that's just not going to work for sure. Alright, guys, so we are over here now. We have a lot of Defender of Justice allies. Oh, come on, dude. What is this nonsense right here? We're not going to get any links activated, because remember, Trunks has the worst link set known to man. Oh, this actually sucks. I mean, bro. Okay. Now, I mean, you guys can say, oh, we have a scouter. Obviously, that's from Xeno Trunks himself. I don't know that Xenotrunks is good enough to go into that middle slot, though. He should be pretty squishy. Let's just go over what Xenotrunks is doing now that we have... we should have his full complement up of buffs, but we'll go over in a second. Okay, so right now, Trunks, he should have 100% attack and defense active. We have 3 key 100% attack and defense against 1 enemy. Then he gets a high chance of a Scouter if there's another Defender of Justice category ally in the team. So that did proc. And then he gives key and then also attack and defensive support. Here, let me do this. Okay. Then he gives key and attack and defensive support per Defender of Justice category ally in the team. Also when there's a Defender of Justice, another Defender of Justice category ally in the team. So Trunks gives up to 3 key, it's 1 key per Defender of Justice ally, up to 3 key, and 7% attack and defense up to 35% per Defender of Justice category ally in the team. So he only needs 5 to be giving his full support buff. I assume Trunks himself will count. Because if he's the only Defender of Justice ally in the team, like, this part of the passive is not up because the other part is active, right, where he does the guaranteed crit. Because him having the Scouter and, this support is predicated on having a second Defender of Justice category ally in the team. Once we do that, Trunks himself should count towards the 5 allies we need. Obviously, we have 5 Defender of Justice allies on the team, and then, we have the 2 Sword of Hope Trunkses that are actually leading us. I mean, Trunks' stats, we're at 150k defense right here. Like, I get that we don't have his links up and stuff like that, but, like, what, do we think we would die, right? Like, did we just load into death? Like, I had to run Trunks in slot 3 right here? Let's see. 126, okay. So, now he supers, he gets his 30% defense, and then, okay, then a second super, that's another 30% defense. And he also gets 100% defense because he's attacking an extreme class enemy. So now it's down to double digits. We're able to get good effect with the Scouter, right? Like, this did synergize well with Physical Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, who, of course, has his nullification against enemy super attacks. So, I mean, at least, we're, doing the showcase for this Xeno Trunks, and then we were able to utilize his best aspect to this effect, right? The only thing I would say, I do agree, I've seen many people call a chance to have Scouter one of the worst. Yeah, really good numbers for Limit Breaker Vegito because he's getting Super Saiyan 4 Vegito support plus Xenotrunks support, right? But I've seen people argue that a chance for Scouter is up there among the worst with, like, Chance the Guard and stuff like that. And, I would have to agree because if you don't see the enemy super attack, you just have to assume it's not on, right? It's just not fun to deal with. I don't really, I mean, me personally, I don't feel like, Chance to dodge is that bad, but, like, Chance to guard and Chance for Scouter are ones that just, I don't know. I think Trunks could have just had the guaranteed Scouter with, what they could have done is maybe leave it exactly the same as it is, but then if you have 5 Defender of Justice allies, it becomes guaranteed Scouter. I think that's fair. It's a free-to-play character, but it's heavily restricted. I just don't see how that would be an issue at all. They give it to him, but they restrict it to that level. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I've said this many times. On free-to-play characters, making them heavily restricted, and then balancing it out, in exchange, making them good, but heavily restricted to, like, certain teams or against certain enemies, I think is totally fine for free-to-play characters. I would prefer my LRs and Dokkan Fest are like Sword of Hope Trunks right here, where he has no restrictions. You run Trunks on all these teams, and he's the same character, right? It's, he could have weaknesses. He only gets, like, low levels of damage reduction and stuff like that, blah, 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 blah. But Trunks is just a pretty kind of, like, malleable unit, right? Like, we could just throw him on any team, and we're gonna, at least know what Trunks is giving us. Many Dokkan Fest and LRs this year heavily restricted, which is stupid. I don't think that the big summonable money characters, like LR Super Boo and Kale and Turles, right? Like, just terrible restrictions that, for me, sap a lot of my fun out of those characters. We need those summonable LRs and Dokkan Fests to be the pillars of these teams, right? And then we could have some of these characters kind of hop in. Okay, so Trunks, I mean, we did 2 turns, and Trunks gave us a nice value with a Scouter. Look at this. We have an AGL unit supering right away. We could put Great Saiyaman 3 right there. And then we have an Int unit supering at the end. We could put Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta right there. So beautiful value right there from the Scouter. We could probably make this the last rotation. With this turn, we'll have seen Trunks, if he's the only Defender of Justice ally, with 1 enemy and with 2 enemies. And then we also have it with a bunch of Defender of Justice allies against 1 enemy and against 2 enemies. So we'll make this the last turn. Let me know what you guys think. Certainly, I guess we could say you could bring him, and with his Scouter and his support, he could be okay if you just, like, he doesn't get hit. I mean, you could... There's a lot of characters who, you could get away with running in, like, like a Fusion Zamasu fight, or, like, a Omega, or, like, one of these really tough fights. You can get away with running them if, like, the enemy just doesn't pressure them, like, a ton, right? Like, maybe just some of the attacks aren't really directed at them too often, and you can get away with it. And there are characters, like this Trunks could, like, if you just get lucky with him not being targeted a lot, this Trunks could actually be decent, running with some of these Heroes characters, right? But at the same time, I mean, if we're talking about that, like, with this Trunks, what's the difference between Trunks and one of these big fights and, I don't know, Physical Kid Buu or something? Physical Kid Buu. But I do like Scouter. Scouter, of course, is always a good mechanic if you have it up. Especially for me, because lately, I mean, I always mentally feel like the bosses are supering right away, but the amount of slot 3 supers I've had to endure over the last couple weeks has been crazy. I mean, we saw both at instant slot 1 super and then a slot 3 super right there on that turn. Craziness, craziness, craziness. Alright guys, so here is the Xeno Trunks right here. This is Pioneer of a New History Trunks Xeno. Leader skill, tech type key 3, 77% of stats. I guess maybe you could use him as like a battlefield leader, I guess, right? Super attack is the Heat Dome attack, so he gets the 30% defense for 1 turn, supreme damage to the enemy, and then greatly lowers enemy defense. Now, his passive skill, Veteran of Traveling Between Histories. This is one of those passives that is a complete mess. And this is where, like, once you, like, look at this. Like, it's just so much easier to, like, just, like, digest this information. So he gets the 100% attack and defense at the start of turn. He gets 3 key and 100% attack and defense against 1 enemy. That's what we're going to get most of the time, right? He gets 150% defense when facing 2 or more enemies. Then he gets 100% attack and defense and a guaranteed crit if he's the only Defender of Justice category character on the team. I hate this. I hate this. Crit is a joke. It's a free-to-play character, dude. He was doing 2 million attack stats and shit. Like, yeah, guaranteed. Oh my god, he did a guaranteed crit. Whoa, calm down. Like, no way. Save the guaranteed crits for the elite summonable characters. We do not need free-to-play characters having crit. That is not how you make a good free-to-play character. I'm sorry. Like, he could have so many other things. Orb changing, support, guard, dodge, damage reduction. Like, you go down the line of abilities. Crit is not something high on my priority list for free-to-play characters. I think giving big-time crit to strong summonable characters is actually very valuable, but like a guy like this, like, nah, I'm good, man. No, thanks. Then, okay, so this part of his passive, he gets a high chance of a Scouter, notice, if there's another Defenders of Justice category ally in the team, and then he also has the support, all allies 1 key up to 3, and then 7% attack and defense up to 35% per Defender of Justice category ally in the team when there's another Defender of Justice category ally on the team that activates. So both parts of that passive will only activate with another Defender of Justice ally in the team. When it comes to the support, I assume he himself should count towards the 5 characters you need, but it's just he doesn't count unless there's also another Defender of Justice ally on the team, right? So, I mean, that's good. I do like his effect. I mean, the 35% support, the 3 key, and the Scouter is solid for a free-to-play character. He's just going to be very, very squishy, right? You got to try and hide him the best you can. And then finally, he gets 100% defense and a high chance to crit when attacking extreme class enemies. Extra defense against extreme class enemies is certainly nice. Remember, Trunks is super class. Super class characters do take more damage from villains, but another chance to crit? Are they joking? chance to crit on a free-to-play character. Please, let's be serious for 2 seconds. Trunks has a real, maybe the worst link set of the year. Maybe, I don't know. Cold Judgment, Solid Support, Patrol, Bombardment, Xenoverse, Super Strike, Shedding Limit. Just so bad. Just absolutely awful. 12 key multipliers, 140%. That is the number that, you know, we pretty much are always seeing on free-to-play characters like this. And then in terms of the categories Trunks has, he does have quite a few, right? I think a Xeno Trunks Dokkan Fest could be pretty good. I think that is something we could see, by the way, because remember, he is a Xenoverse 2 character. Because Super Saiyan 3 Bardock is a Dokkan Fest. Well, I guess Android 21 is now a Dokkan Fest, too. So, Xeno Trunks could certainly get one. With all his categories, he could be a nice Dokkan Fest, you know, if they made him strong. So, he, of course, is on Hybrid Saiyans. I would love for a strong Hybrid Saiyan comeback. It would be beautiful. Then, he is also on the Time Traveler team. I mean, that's kind of like where we were utilizing him today, right? To take advantage of all the Defender of Justice allies there. He's also on the Vegeta family team. I mean, this team is just completely dead. I mean, we have Vegeta and Trunks and Sword of Hope Trunks, and, like, that's it. Like, at Battle of Gods, Vegeta could be okay, depending upon the fight. He could be okay, but this team needs a true, like, well, I guess Sword of Hope Trunks, I would say, is like a top 10 contender. Vegeta and Trunks are maybe like a top 20 contender, something like that. They need like a top 5 contender on this team. Vegeta family, for sure. Then there's also the Bond of Master and Disciple category team. They're also over here on Battle of Wits. Okay. Strong. This is a category that's just gotten so strong, right? So many options. They're also over here on the Crossover category team. Sure. Then Trunks is on Defender of Justice. This is a very important category, obviously, for some of Trunks' abilities there. Then he is on the Entrusted Will category. That's important because, remember, there is that tough mission against Fusion Zamasu, right? So any Entrusted Will characters could potentially help free-to-play players, newer players, beat that. That Fusion Zamasu mission is definitely going to be tough for a lot of players, for sure. So, you know, any help potentially could be good for that. Then Trunks is also on the Bond of Parent and Child. And then finally, Xeno Trunks, of course, is on the Earthbred Fighter category team. So there we go. There is the EZA Super Strike Xeno Trunks, kind of just, you know, finishing up these Heroes characters from the Hero Celebration now. So let me know what you guys think of them. Thanks, you guys, for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time.